Hey, this is Pops. Credit or blame a common idiot, our friend Matt, who asked me to consider watching Final Destination Bloodline. But before I did, I figured, well, I probably should rewatch Final Destination and some of the sequels because I know I've never seen these before. So let me give you my thoughts on them right now. All right, let me get started with the first one. That's right, the 2000 Final Destination original one that centers around this kid, Alex. He's getting ready to get aboard Flight 180. That's right, has a bad feeling, a bad vibe, vision, and kind of stuns out of it and says, everybody get off the flight. And he kind of basically saw the fact that the plane was going to blow up. And basically, everybody that gets off the flight has now cheated death. And that's kind of the premise of the Final Destination franchise is, you can't cheat death. Death will come for you. And I really was thinking about any other IPs like this that don't really have a villain per se, a faceless sort of phantom that's out there and kind of gets you. There might be some wind that blows to let you know that death is right there, but nothing really manifests.
By walking off the plane, you've cheated death. You have to figure out how and when it's coming back at you.
You know who's next. Nobody has control over life and death.
And then the film is just a series of trying to put pieces together with all these weird, crazy, strange deaths that start up happening. And Alex kind of pieces together the fact that death is taking them out in order of how they were going to die on the plane. And therefore, if you somehow miss that death, you cheat that death, again, it will jump you, presumably coming back around to get you. And that's general the premise of it. I think I like the first movie okay. It sort of just kind of gets away from itself in the third act because it doesn't really want to kill off both the main characters. So it's kind of figuring out how does it keep you on the edge of your seat when it ran out of characters. Like I feel like it just kind of keeps going and going. The girl's name is Clear, but it always sounds like Claire. That was just really irritating. I don't know why we do this in movies where we think that we're being so creative and they make people's names just off enough where it's actually distracting. But she and Alex presumably survive, and we see them in Paris. And you start to see a sign that's kind of swinging towards the other guy that survives, Carter. And that's how the movie kind of ends.
Death's coming at you. Now you have to figure out when.
Tell me, am I going to die?
I'm not gonna let it happen, okay?
All right, Final Destination 2, 3 years later, we pick up after the events of the first film, connected to it in the fact that Flight 180 has exploded. These are kids that are headed out to spring break. It really done well is sort of the premonition. So the main character here, Kimberly, she's in her car with her friends and she kind of foresees this deadly pileup. Now, I want to say of all of the films, this is possibly one of, if not the most memorable sort of like massive death that's done in any of the movies with just crazy sequences of events between the motorcycle person and the logging truck and things bursting into flames and crushing people and the cop gets out of his car and this is really some of the most memorable elements of the entire franchise, not just this film. It is also done very well to keep things very connected to the first movie. I think that is probably one of the things that works out really, really well. Now, Clear is also back again. I know I just kind of criticized her name, but she's back again. They seek her out for some advice and sort of like mentorship of things. And it kind of works. We do get sort of a new trope in the IP of like, hey, we have this older character, mature character, or a mentor type character who will basically find themselves in an abrupt death. They don't even get like a nice setup or they're cooking at the oven with something weird happening. No, they just like you turn your head for 2 seconds and bam, they're just done. That will happen throughout the rest of the movies as well. Clear's one of those first victims.
Because one woman one survived.
Being alive after we were supposed to die caused a rift in Death's design.
Now everyone must die.
It affected everyone we've come into contact with since.
So you're telling me that I'm next?
Final Destination.
It's not over yet.
Rated R. Starts Friday.
Again, I think there are some good moments in this one. I actually think I like this one a little bit better than the first one. So that's kind of how I came away with Final Destination 2.
It was an accident.
There it is.
They barely escaped.
The drives are broken! Don't push the button!
The ones who got off that roller coaster are still going to die.
It's become a destination
You're reading into this like them urban legends.
they can't
I
avoid.
never thought I could see my own death before it happened. You're dead!
Final Destination 3.
Meet you at the end.
Rated R.
All right, so Final Destination 3, I know I didn't see, came out 3 years later, and this is where we sort of get the first real derailment of some concepts. They go in for some skin, they go in for more grossness, and they create sort of like this murder element, things that you can do that just seem very extreme. This centers around the tragic incident of this roller coaster that derails and would have presumably have killed a bunch of people. Again, premonition. We see people who get saved and then go through a sequence of events of who's going to be next and that sort of thing. But again, like I said, they do these really gross deaths for some of the other characters, and it doesn't really work well for me. I think the performances in this one was really pretty subpar, even though Mary Elizabeth Winstead went on for good things. I think she's a solid enough actress, but I feel like this movie was just not very good. The roller coaster stuff, I think, was fine. It's an interesting premise. I mean, you're trying to tap into something that seems a lot more grounded, or fears that people have, and that kind of carny type fear of a roller coaster derailment. But I don't know, man. This one just seemed like such a stretch. The other thing too that also doesn't work for me is that she was taking pictures, and somehow these pictures are clues. So I don't know. I just didn't like any of that. And then of course the end of the movie, they're sort of like, they didn't really cheat depth. We're just going to fast forward with a major jump forward in time, and they're on a subway, and what's actually happening or not happening. Yeah, that was kind of, yeah. So that's just my general thoughts on number 3.
You come here hoping to see a crash?
Of course.
This Friday,
We have to get out of here. We're all gonna die.
the 3D event of the summer arrives.
I was meant to see this movie.
No mercy, no escape, no limits.
Everything's gonna be okay!
The Final Destination. Rated R.
Sounds like a chick flick.
Take the trip in 3D, 2D, and select theaters. Starts this Friday.
All right, The Final Destination. That's right. The 4th one is in 3D, because remember when that was a huge thing? I'm just as guilty. I enjoyed some of the 3D movies, but I did not see this one. Did not see this, and definitely know why. It is not done well, and it is definitely makes some moves that are just done for 3D effects. But here we're at like a racetrack. There's going to be this big accident where this tire is going to go into the audience, a big explosion, all these different things that are going to lead to a sequence of deaths that's going to get cheated at the last second, when we have this premonition that this person has. That's right. Nick just sees, hey, something bad's going to happen. Let's get out of here. Let's cheat death. Let's do this. And then, of course, they got to go after everybody in order, as death always does. There are some great moments. There's some crazy explosions and visions and things that do happen. The accidents are somewhat crazy. Dying in a car wash, for instance. Stay away from the water. Dude's getting sucked into the pool. So the absurdity level just gets ramped up like crazy. It's a 3D movie. It made a ton of money, in large part because it was kind of a 3D fad. Also, the horror movie stuff came out at a pretty good time at the end of summer. Nothing else really out there for people to go see. I actually thought this was just pretty bad, even though some of the NASCAR explosion death stuff wasn't the problem. It's a lot of just the stupidity of everything that kind of follows suit. And then, of course, the big twist kind of keeps going. Like again, they kind of introduced the murder concept in the previous film, and here it gets too far. Like if you actually just kill someone else, you steal their lives. Now we're going into like full on video game type stuff. I think it just was kind of terrible. We started getting into that kind of thing. And you also get into just the spontaneous death of George, which I don't care for any of that as well. And then, it's not really the kind of thing where we're going to cheat death after all. There's something at the moment. The truck's going to swerve. Yeah. All right. So let's get on to the next film.
Death doesn't like to be cheated.
Guess we all should have seen that coming.
Final Destination in IMAX 3D. Rated R. Starts Friday.
All right, so this one is actually this magnificent bridge collapse sequence, which is, again, one of, if not the most memorable. I've watched that sequence and the logging sequences again a couple of times. They cheat death. They have a memory. They're going away on like a work retreat, and then there's, hey, get off the bus. There's going to be an accident. This is what's going to happen. They get saved, so they're going to get a death's going to go after them in order. I think I misspoke on the last movie with the whole murder somebody, get their lives thing, because that's definitely the black kid there. It's like he doesn't even really actually kill the guy. It's just an accidental death, but it's played up as though he steals the life. It's played for a twist, and I don't know. The special effects of the bridge sequence are really magnificent. I have to be honest, that is probably some of the best in the entire series. Crazy deaths get ruined in the trailer. I was kind of disappointed that I kind of knew a little too much. I didn't want to. You saw a quick shot of the balance beam person. Oh my goodness. Let me say the balance, the gymnast death is shockingly gruesome and also like wicked. Like, wow, I can't believe they went there. So, all right. So all in all, where am I at on things? So I don't personally care for the franchise. I don't find them particularly that entertaining. I think the second one and the last one have those two massive sequences and they work around that pretty well. But I think that when you get away, by the time you get to the fifth one, they start introducing, oh, if you kill someone, you can take their lives and all that. It's just that part's just dumb. Just cheat death. Just stay on target with what the rules and the structures are. But I think at the end of like one, we're trying to keep we killed off too many characters. The audience is not cheering for the one guy to survive, but he does. I don't see he has a redemption arc, but he feels like he's less of an a-hole. But other movies, like, I don't know, the roller coaster one, I think just falls flat because they went to the photograph Clue, Scooby-Doo feel of it all. I think that was pretty subpar. So I think if I had to rewatch them or rank them, it's just going to be 2 than 1. Because I do like how 2 actually probably made it better by tying to the first movie and also making something different and interesting. So that thing I think I kind of liked more than anything else. So the last one, I think the problem is the ending with that whole silly, take out the person and get their lives and whatever. That just is dumb. By far the worst one is probably the No, I don't know. The NASCAR one's so dumb. Then so 3 and 4 are the worst ones, and it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't want to. The roller coaster stuff isn't interesting enough to rewatch the effect and all that. And there's no really. I mean, there's deaths, but it's yeah. And then NASCAR one, it's like it's okay, and there's some moments that are fine, but overall, yeah. So that's kind of my general take on it. I hear everyone just loves Bloodlines. I'm willing to give it a go. We'll see how it kind of plays out against these other movies. Am I way off base? Do you guys think I've got them out of order? Do you have a preference? Which ones you think are good or not? Right now, I would say I'm going to rank them 2, 1. I think I'm just going to go 5, 3, 4. But 3 and 4 is kind of interchangeable at the bottom. And I don't care for there's a big gap between the second one and even the first one, I gotta be honest. If I have to score them, I'm gonna give the second one, like, can I give it 3? I think I'm just gonna have to stick to 2.5 star. 2.5 out of 5. I don't think I can get to 3. I'd have to rewatch it to see. The first one's right there as well, like 2.5. If I have a nudge, that second one gets a 3. That one, first one gets a 2.5. And then the other stuff is like maybe a 2. And I have to be honest, the NASCAR one and the theme park ones are like 1.5. I don't think I can even get to 2. There's too many decent two-star movies. There's too many decent, you know what I mean? There's like too many just, and some people who like them, I get it. Add your star. Get it. I understand you like them more than me, but this is my general take on the franchise. Take on these movies. So, like I said, we can blame our friend Matt. He had me doing this, and I'm going to watch Bloodlines, and we'll talk about that when I do. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Pops.